Well, hello. It's going to be very short, but I had a request, and thank you for your comment request on how I start these old engines, carbureted engines, when they're cold with no choke. I've got 3 Fords, 72, 76, and 77. None of them I've got the chokes wired open, because I never did have luck with chokes unless it's a modern vehicle. And they don't even have them now. Everything's fuel injected, but I always wind up flooding stuff. But they had requested I show what I do and how I start them, and that got me thinking. I watch a lot of the backyard mechanic YouTubers like me that just loves doing this stuff and trying to make a few extra dollars to help out. And I've seen a lot of folks that have a devil of a time cranking some older vehicle, 50s, 60s, 70s, and I've noticed they're either patting them too much or not hitting them at all. These vehicles is not going to crank. Just put the key in them and turn the ignition when they're cold. I'm in my 72. I'm going to demonstrate how I crank it, but this old truck ain't normal the way this thing runs, and has run for 20 plus years. It's never had a choke hooked up to it the whole time I've had it. But what I do, let me flip this around, and I hope this helps, because I have noticed that on a lot of videos. Even pretty big YouTubers, I've seen them struggle with getting these old vehicles started. And it's just a matter of basically what I do. Again, I'm in my 72. If you can see this, I'll hit this gas pedal 3 times to the floor. And since it was 25 last night, I'm going to hit it 1 more time. If it's real cold, I'll hit it 4. Reach over here, and then I immediately just start barely patting on the gas pedal, just enough to keep it running until alright, it died there 1 time, and then just don't stomp it, just barely mash it, keep the engine running. And if you can see my foot, I'm not hardly mashing that at all, just barely mashing it. Alright, now the engine is smoothing out. I will hold it a little bit, hold it down, get the idle up. Alright, now we can go on. If you'll notice, I'm not mashing that gas hard at all. That's where a lot of folks make a mistake. As good as this old truck runs and has run, if I stomped that to the floor right now, the truck would die. But if you'll see, I'm just barely mashing that gas pedal. And then I'll hold it and just idle it up. And in this truck's case, it will probably idle now, and it's been sitting here 2 or 3 days without cranking. Alright, I'm going to take my foot off. And there we go. Now again, like I said, this truck is a little abnormal as good as it runs, and it always has. I paid $450 for this truck 20 plus years ago, but it'll sit here. Now in other cases, this blue 77, the Explorer, I may have to hit it. Okay, this truck has been running probably a minute. Y'all saw it live, no time lapse, no nothing. My foot is not on the gas. Cranked right up. In case of this bluing, I usually have to hit that gas pedal 4 or 5 times. And once the engine catches, I'll do the same thing. You saw how I just was barely, I guess you'd call it, massaging the gas pedal. What that is, when they're cold, at first, when I first mashed it to the floor 4 times, that is basically the equivalent as if you was pouring a little gas down the carburetor. It is pumping gas down in on top of the pistons, in the intake, however, I don't know the science of it. But that's how you crank a old V8 straight 6 engine. And they'll be different. You know, some of them will require more pats, but always start with 3 or 4. And once the engine hits, say you did it 4 times and the engine hit, next time do it 3 times. And as soon as that engine catches, just start barely massaging that gas pedal. You're barely, what you're doing when you mash that gas pedal, you're barely just trickling gas in there to keep it running. If my old Ford 72 had a choke on it, I probably couldn't crank it. It would probably, I'd probably flood it every time. In the case of the old red up, it seems like it's going to be about like the 72. I usually pat it about 3 times so far. Now, bear in mind, this truck hadn't been running or cranking maybe only about 4 or 5 days. So it's still getting broke in and everything. But so far, this truck, I do it exactly the same way I did what I'll do this one 3 times. This morning, when I had it running, I think I had to hit it 4 or 5 times. But it's a 6-cylinder engine, it'll be slightly different. But that's how I do it. And again, like I said, I've noticed a lot of folks has trouble getting these old carbureted engines started that don't have a choke, or they can't get the choke set. The best bet, if the choke's sticky or not working, just wire it open. Get you a piece of, I use loaf bread ties, just wire them open. Somebody commented in one of my comments about the background noise. I apologize for that, but this is as raw and real as it gets. It's just me and a cell phone. But I just wired that open. That's actually a garbage bag tire. And before I did that, this truck would flood something fierce. And now just figuring out how many times to pat them when they're cold. And once the engine is warm, you've seen my 72, I don't even hit the gas, it'll just fire right up, just like fuel injected or something. And old red here does the same thing. Once that engine's warmed up, maybe 3 or 4 minutes is all it takes. And I don't even have to hit the gas, it'll just fire right up. But anyway, I hope that helps, and I appreciate the comment. And I'm gonna go ahead and post this. I never thought about that, but since the comment, I was thinking, you know, I've seen a lot of guys that's really pretty good mechanics seem to struggle with getting these old engines started, and that's why. But anyway, again, I appreciate your comment, and I hope this helps. It's worked for me for 40 years, however long, 45 years. Most everything I ever had didn't have a choke on it. But anyway, I appreciate it, and we'll see y'all.